In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to raise your vibration beyond belief and into being. This is a game changer. This will help you to tap more into the love frequency than ever before and can radically change your life in a powerful way. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you that of understanding the power you have to raise over the current identity you have into a new level of vibration. The reason I say identity as well is because the way we define ourselves, the way we think about ourselves, has to do with what kind of vibrational reality we experience. So if we view ourselves as a negative person, that viewing ourselves as a negative person will keep us in a lower vibrational range. We may be feeling that of shame, fear, guilt, anger, and it's because we are identifying with that negativity. However, when we change our perception for who we are, understanding that we are more than the story we tell ourselves, and understanding that we are more than the physical ego structure that we live in, that's when things begin to change. Raising your vibration is a natural byproduct of you doing what you love. When you do what you love, you raise your vibration. Let's talk about some of the side effects of raising your vibration. One of them is that you just feel better. Imagine that you raise your vibration, you're just like a looseness. You can like take a deep breath and just relax. You can understand that, are you doing what you're passionate about? Are you going around every day and excited about what you're doing? When I wake up in the morning, I'm excited to make a video because I'm doing what I love. And I don't say that to brag, I'm just saying that you can do the same thing by understanding the stuff I'm going to be sharing in this video. Because a lot of times we assume that we must do things, we must think things in order to be in a high vibe. All you have to do is be present to the moment. Now, I've shared a lot before of that chart of consciousness. I'm going to go ahead and put it right here just for reference. It's kind of nice to look at too. I kind of like looking at it. When you look at this right here, you see this chart of consciousness and you're like, whoa, Aaron, I've seen that chart of consciousness in many of your other videos. It's been a while, so I'll go ahead and look at that chart of consciousness again and hear you talk about the different vibrations. So you see on this chart, you see on the bottom, you got that of shame, fear, guilt, not so pleasant experiences. Then eventually you got neutrality. Neutrality is very powerful because then you observe those lower negative thoughts. You can observe the identity that is creating those experiences. And then you can begin to raise. You got willingness. That's like the willpower. It's kind of like the third chakra. From there, you'll see that moving in a certain direction, acceptance, accepting the present moment. Eventually, you get to that of reasoning. Reasoning is the intellect. Reasoning is the mind. Reasoning is the understanding that your beliefs create your reality. When you become aware of those beliefs you have, you then change your reality. And then you have unconditional love. You have love and then unconditional love. Love is 500, 540 is unconditional love. This, and then over that is joy, peace, and enlightenment. And then at 1,000 we have avatar status. And this scale of consciousness was made using muscle testing, using the subconscious mind for us to tap into it, what's called kinesiology. It's been around and it's very powerful. It comes from the book Power versus Force. Now, the reason I share this consciousness chart with you is because it gives our logical mind something to grasp onto and be like, okay, here's where I think I'm at. Let's go ahead and increase it now. And it also helps you know practicality-wise, what to do to go beyond. Now, a lot of the YouTube videos I have, it'll share with you how to raise your vibration. One of the most powerful ways is to begin to disidentify. I like the way I said that. Disidentify. You can disidentify with that of the lower negative emotions and thoughts and patterns. So anger or shame or guilt, it's being able to observe those. Neutrality is a huge, powerful step. So just knowing that, it's like, okay, well, I can get to neutrality because I can observe these things. I can observe the things that have happened to me before and see how they happened for me because it allowed me to grow. You see, then we start to identify in a new way. And that begins to change many things in our life. So, okay, we can look at this now, and we can say this is the scale of vibration. And what I want to do is I want to raise my vibration. I want to increase it. I want to feel better a majority of the time. And what I'm sharing in this video isn't just how to go to neutrality, and then from neutrality get to acceptance, and then from acceptance get to willingness. I believe there's easier ways to go about this. And what this has to do is it has to do with understanding reality itself. Reality itself is that when you look at this scale of vibration, your identity, the way you see yourself, will be the certain set point you have for what you experience. And if you see yourself as someone that's guilty for doing something, or you see yourself as someone that's an angry person, then you'll stay within that emotional band for as long as you keep that story going. But understand, it's just a story. That's it. It's a story. It's like, how much longer do I have to live in this story? And in a way, what happens is we come to Earth, we have this Earth experience, we forget who we are when we come here because it makes the game more real. Then we can experience reality through the five senses, and we can go through it, and we can really believe it's real so that we can then have an experience. However, then there comes a point when you become aware of the stories you're telling yourself, you become aware of this narrative that we have, and then you become aware that you can change it. Now the thing is most people believe that they are their ego. Their ego, what they experience the reality through, their five senses. They believe that's all they are. Got news for you though. You are an infinite spiritual being dreaming that you are a mere mortal human. Now in a way, your ego will one day die. Sorry to ruin the end of the movie here. I'm going to ruin the end of the movie. One day, our ego avatars in this reality will fall away, and we won't be here anymore. But we're still infinite spiritual beings having this temporary human experience. However, the key in this game is when you become aware of what your beliefs are, when you become aware of the character you're playing, because then you can start to have more fun with the game. It's not so serious anymore. You can start to look at things in a new way and see how certain people making cameos in your life may have actually excelled your growth. You can look and see how certain things in your life have actually allowed you to grow and develop your character. But remember this, it's still just a character. And you can still agree of its character. I can still say that my name is Aaron Doughty. I had this job I did not like. I walked around selling women's shoes. Hey ma'am, would you like a $1,200 pair of shoes? Yes you would? Let me go into the back and grab that for you. Here you go. Try these on. Are they comfortable? No? I know, but you still want to buy them? She says yes. Okay, ring her up, I make money. I did that for years, then eventually I started to change my story. And I was aware that, hey, I'm just telling myself this story. I have to have this job I'm not passionate about. You know what? Change my story. I used to have a story that I was a lazy person. I was waiting to manifest going full-time, doing what I love. I was waiting to meet a motivational speaker that was one day going to come into Barney's, New York, which is where I work, selling those women's shoes. Hey, ma'am, would you like some shoes? I had this story that some like motivational speaker was going to come through and be like, Aaron Doughty, you look like an amazing public speaker. Come to my event. I will share you with the masses, and you will never have to sell shoes again. And I thought that that's what was going to happen. I was like really thinking about it. One day I met Jack Canfield. He came in and I helped him with stuff for his wife. And he comes in and I was like, whoa, Jack Canfield, I manifested it. And it was very magical because he was trying something on in, he's trying to get something for his wife in women's clothes. I work in women's shoes. No one was over there. So he came over to me. He's like, hey, can you help me with this? I was like, yeah, I'll help you. I was like, wait, you're Jack Canfield. You're from the movie The Secret. I said, you know what? And I realized how kind of funny this probably sounded at the time. I was like, one day I'm going to do what you do. And I was like, I sound so kind of like one of those people right now. It's like, oh, one day I'm going to, but the truth is I knew it. I just knew it. Even though it felt kind of fake to me at the moment to say that. I was like, one day I'm going to do what you do. And he's like, yeah, cool. He gave me his business card. I still have his business card in my closet over there, just as a reminder. And in that moment, that moment I didn't change my story yet, but I always remembered that because then after I talked to him and he left and he's like, here's the teacher training. You can come. I'll train you to do what you do. But it was very expensive. So I was like, okay, I don't have $20,000 right now to go to some training thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to change my story. So I changed my story. And I changed my story recognizing that this is just a character. I said, you know what? I'm not lazy anymore. I'm going to make a video a day every single day until I'm doing what I love for a living. And that will help me to raise my vibration. So in that moment, I chose my story and I changed my story. And from changing my story, my life began to elevate in a very powerful way. So the power that I'm sharing with you today is to help you go beyond belief and into being. Because when you look at the scale of consciousness, you see that at 400, that is your beliefs. What is your beliefs? What do you believe to be true? Because that will be reflected back to you. But what I'm sharing with you is that go beyond belief and into being. Because the belief is within the story itself. And when you become aware of what beliefs you have, you start to take your power back. When you become aware of the autopilot mind, you start to take your power back. But you see, what I'm trying to do in this video right now is to shift you into the awareness that everything you live in your life is a story. You have a story about your relationships, of how you relate to other people, and even romantically. You have a story about how you make money, and if you can do what you love for a living, or what you have to do what you will love for a living. You have a story about your health. These are all stories that we tell ourselves, and we always experience a reality that is equal to that story until we become aware of that story. We choose to see that some parts of it may not serve us anymore, and then we start to wire in a new story. It's that simple, but you have to become aware of it. But most people are identified with the ego. They're identified with the 3D avatar character that we play, experiencing reality through the 5 senses. So because it's so real and so serious, it becomes so heavy and hard to change the story. Your story is not set, and your story is something you can change. You have been reading a script in this movie that you thought you had to read. You thought that some director gave you this script and you had to be within the confinements of the script you were giving, going through life situations you didn't prefer to experience. But the news I have for you is that that script is outdated. You can let that script go, and you can choose to write your own script from this place going forward, from this point going forward. Change your script. Up until this point, maybe you were unaware of the story you told yourself. Maybe you were unaware that you were reading someone else's script. Maybe the script got misplaced with someone else and you've been reading someone else's story. Maybe it's been a pattern that you thought you had to adopt. Maybe somebody passed on their story through the genealogy of your family, and you got this story and you're like, this is who I am. But the power is when you start to change your story. Change your story. You are not a victim of your story. And if you are a victim, then be aware that that's the story you're using. You're identifying with things that have happened or what people have done to you, and you're keeping that going. And in certain ways, it's keeping it perpetuated. Everything in life is about the story we tell ourselves. At a certain point, I just changed my story. I was like, I don't prefer to be working in selling women's shoes. I'm not passionate about it. I think I'm lazy, but you know what? You know, it's funny, people like admire my work ethic. I mean, I love what I do, but people are like, Aaron makes a video every day on YouTube. He makes an Instagram post like 2 times a day. He does like live Q&As all the time. He's got these academies with people. He does all of this stuff. How does he do it all? He's a really hard worker. But it's just a part of the story I tell myself. I love what I do. So today, I get up. I was reading a book earlier. Just felt like reading a book. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll film a video now. So I'm going to come over here. But you know what I did is I changed my story even a little bit. I'll be honest with you here. So sometimes when I get in front of this camera, I come over here. I'm like, yo, welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron Doughty, and I'm very serious in my videos sometimes. And this is how I am. And this is what I preach. And this is what you could do, X, Y, Z, and you could change your life in a very powerful way. But what I realized is that's a story I tell myself, that I always have to be so serious and all of this stuff. But what I'm realizing now is I can change my story. And as I change my story, it's looser. You can feel it's a little bit more flexible in this video. You can feel like I'm not so emphasizing the 3D seriousness of trying to help change the consciousness of the planet. You know? It's like, relax. Enjoy life experience. Change your story. Go beyond belief. Because beyond belief is where you can look at the belief and you can say, wow, that was a belief. I had a belief that I had to be serious while I made these videos. But I'm realizing now I can just enjoy it a little bit more. That this life is an experience. We experience life through the 5 senses, and whoa, it's so cool. But we live most of our life not knowing who we really are. So we go through life identifying with our senses, identifying with our story, identifying with the things that happen to us, not knowing that we can become aware that it's just an act we play. We are spiritual beings, live in temporary human experiences, and we become aware of that. Some people call it a spiritual awakening. But life becomes more fun, because then you can write the rules to your own life. Would you like to play a game that you didn't know the rules to? Probably be kind of frustrating. Imagine some people knew the rules to a game you didn't know. You're just sitting there watching everyone else play this game, and you're just kind of confused. But here's the thing. When you become aware of the story you tell yourself, when you become aware that your thoughts are creating your reality, when you become aware that you can shift your thoughts, you start to learn the rules of the game. But until you do, everything's happening to you. Somebody put an Uno card down, or they told you to go fish, or you played trouble with the dice thing, whatever, okay? But if you don't understand the rules of the game, it's a little bit confusing. If you want to understand the rules of the game of life, your thoughts influence your reality. And you become more aware of that, becoming more aware of your thoughts, the stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you have. And as you become more aware of that, you start to gain your power back. And then you can start to play the game in a powerful way. But remember, it's still just a game. It's still a game you're meant to enjoy. Games are fun. Enjoy life. Enjoy life. So the intention I had with this video is to help you raise your vibration and understanding this game we are playing that appears to be so real, that as you become aware of it, you start to change your relationship to it. As great as it could be if I came and swooped in on this video and was like, here's 3 ways to raise your vibration instantly, and if you just do this, this, and this, you're going to feel better. Instead, I chose to share some ideas about how your story, what your story is, how you can change your story, how you can move with awareness through your life, go beyond belief and into being. Just be. Have fun. Play this game, but be aware it's a game. Live your story, but be aware it's a story. Be yourself, and be yourself. So with this, I hope you see that this video is more light, this video is more fun, and it's simply because that's the most powerful way to raise your vibration, is just to have fun. It's just to be in that state. I hope you can feel the energy from this video and know that you can just have fun. Change your story. Don't be so serious today. Have fun. Let this be a fun experience and watch how your life begins to change. So if you want to also raise your vibration, I have a meditation that will help you to do that. Top of the description box below. 21 days. That's all I'm saying. Okay? 21 days. It will change your life. There's no going back ever, okay? It's going to raise your vibration to the next level of consciousness. But in all honesty, I think it'll change your life. It's in the top of the description box below. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. If you've been wondering to yourself, Aaron, how can I ask you questions and how can I talk to you? And you're like, I really want to? You can join my live Q&As on Instagram. So boom, right here. And also, I post twice a day there. So you want native content from me? You want it, you got it, okay? You want it, you got it. Other than that, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video. I give you the freedom to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with people and say, hey, just raise your vibration. This video raised my vibration. Maybe it'll help you raise your vibration, and maybe we'll spread some light in the world. So with that being said, shine your light. You are high vibration. I'll see you in the next vid. Peace, much love, and namaste.